All right, y'all. So Rudy did an interview with a local Fox affiliate, right? It's not this video at the top, as I learned the first time I was trying to cover this article. And unfortunately, the video looks terrible because they blurred him out the entire time. So it looks like we're basically looking at a wall, right? Because he didn't want to be seen, which in performing the interview, Fox, at that point, don't you think you should have trained your cameras on the interviewers? This is terrible. But anyway, he talks about. Oh, by the way, he does say that he was not sexually assaulted, but you know what? Dude was imprisoned for 8 years, made to sleep in her bed, and kind of alludes to the fact that he had some sort of inappropriate actions, but not intercourse. So the question is, how far, like, what's your barrier on what you consider sexual assault, right? All right. So let's go through this.
Flooring is one of the largest purchases you'll ever make. So be sure you're buying from a company you can trust.
Whatever.
Check for reviews. Get a copy of the estimate.
Make sure there's no hidden cost.
And when you're ready to buy, come see the big guy.
Carpet Giant!
Are you shocked at how much attention this is
Yeah,
getting?
a lot. It's a lot of attention. It kind of gets me overwhelmed, you know. Other than that, I just try to stay positive, just try to keep my mentality straight and honest and true and just spread positivity and kindness.
So, the world thought you were missing for 8 years. Where were you? Where have you been?
Just at home. Just stuck at home, If somebody would come over, my mom would just tell me stay in the room, keep the door locked, don't let them in, don't make any sound.
So just to recap, Rudy Farias was just located on Thursday of last week. I got the date wrong initially on the first video I did. So this would have been July 6th, right? I think. It would have been Thursday that he was located unresponsive. And basically what his mom had done is he had run away when he was 17, and apparently this is partially, I guess, because he had some sort of speeding ticket when he was 17. And but he came back the next day. However, she went to the police, reported him missing, and so he was reported as missing for 8 years. And during that time, she imprisoned him mentally because she kept telling him that if she didn't hide him, he would be arrested. So she was brainwashing him. She was also drugging him, and there was indentured servitude. She was bringing him to work with him, making him perform some of her job duties during the shift, and only paying him $60 a week, which I don't even know where he'd be able to spend it because he's not allowed to go anywhere, right? He had to hide from all of his relatives except for his grandmother, who had Alzheimer's. And because she had Alzheimer's, when she tried to tell other relatives that he was there and he was living there, they didn't believe her because they thought, well, you've got like dementia and Alzheimer's and we don't know what you're talking about, right? So neighbors knew him under a different name. He had interactions with the police and was told to use a different name by his mother because she was terrifying this kid. This was back in 2015, that he was 17 years old, and apparently in Texas, 17 is considered an adult already. What the fuck, Texas? And so he's been enslaved by his mother for 8 years. She often made him sleep with her, but he doesn't go further into what other sort of contact may have happened there. And maybe he's embarrassed. Maybe he doesn't want to talk about it. You know, he didn't even want to show his face in this interview. So it's difficult to say how extensive this is. I think that he's going to have to go through some severe therapy to get it all out. And he says he does not have attorney representation at this time. Which, by the way, where's the district attorney? Where's the district attorney? You have a potential rapist, and but definitely somebody who illegally incarcerated her son through mental means. You guys got to figure out your case, because this is so crazy. All right, let's go.
Don't do anything, you know.
Tell us about what it was like living there. Were you allowed to leave the room? Was she holding you there against your will?
She never, like, locked me in or, you know, like, handcuffed me or anything like that. You know, I had free will to leave. It just felt like brainwashing, honestly. Like, it just kept confusing me, just the way, you know, she would manipulate me into saying, like, oh, you're gonna get arrested because you have a speeding ticket or something, like something minor, something innocent, and then it would just kind of escalate into just people just, sorry, just,
You're good.
It just,
Take your time.
yeah, it just escalated from there, from, you know, just wanting to get away from home, just be free, live my own life, arguing all the time, and then we eventually just went into just, she locked me in there pretty much mentally, just that she was my only parent. She was the only person I ever really had besides my brother. So when I lost my brother, I didn't have anybody to teach me how to live, you know, how to have contact.
I'd like to know more about what happened to his brother, by the way. If she was this cruel with Rudy, did he actually die of natural causes, or is there something more nefarious going on here?
Confidence or trust in myself or anything, you know, so I just depended on my mom all my life.
What had you been doing for those 8 years?
Just trying to study the best I can online, you know, understand how the world works, you know, understand different cultures, different religions, different everything, because my life, I just believe that we should stop putting labels on everything and just understand the communities and the prosperity and the growth and the positivity, because there's just too much fighting, there's too much anger, there's too much depression and mental health problems in the world.
Well, I imagine that's about all you can do if you're being entrapped for 8 years, is get into reading and media. Like, what else are you going to do with yourself if you're not allowed to go out and form relationships with other people, build a resume, go to college, develop life skills? Like, this is going to be terrible. I think at this point, Rudy is going to ultimately, I think, have to become like a motivational speaker for abused children. I think that's like his best avenue at this point, unless he has like some specific skill or trade that he was already working on before this started happening. But like, that's so long ago. It was like it was 2015 that this started. This is so nuts.
Yeah, we just need to spread more positivity, because all of it, everything around us, it's an algorithm that they control through the social media and through the colors and just everything. You know, like if you see something white, like a white wall, or
just keep in mind, she was also telling her neighbors that he was like her nephew, and under a different name, and that he was nonverbal. because she was drugging him. And as you can tell in this interview, he is absolutely articulate and smart. And he's been reading. But as you'll soon find in the interview, it sounds like he was also getting influenced by MAGA, unfortunately.
Or a white pillowcase or a white car driving around the place, you know, you'll just understand that, like, you're just trying to have a positive thought, and then you'll look at something white and get sidetracked, and you'll get distracted about stuff and things, and then you'll find stuff like a pink wall or something, or pink whatever, and then you'll just be reminded of, you know, somebody trying to help you, prosperity, you know, just somebody loving people. And red, people confuse that for anger or hate, and it's only anger or hate, these type of things, if you look at it that way, you know.
You know, police said a lot of times that you were 17 when this happened and you're an adult. You spoke a little bit about this, about some of the family trauma you've had growing up. Talk about the fact that although you're an adult, how difficult it was for you to be in this situation and maybe not be able to get out of.
It felt like Stockholm Syndrome, honestly. Like, just held against my will mentally, not physically, just constantly, like, she was bombarding me with negative thoughts, and like every time I come around her, she just makes me, it's like little triggers just pop up, and it's like, if I'm trying to get away from my mom, I'll hear a random noise, and it'll be like a little reminder in my head, like, don't do that, don't say this, or, you know, just little things, like, she's putting ideas or thoughts into my head whenever I'm just trying to, you know, just understand the world.
Do you think your mom took advantage of you?
Heavily.
How does that feel? I mean, I can't imagine. You said your mom is really the only person in your family you have. How was that you felt your own mom took advantage?
It's like I lived in prison. It's like I lived in a jail my whole life. I just wanted to be free. I wanted to have my own job. I just wanted to live my life. I just wanted to...
Keep an eye on your relatives, y'all, and don't be afraid to call out their bad behavior. I've been doing that a lot lately in my own family. I've been getting bullshit for it because, you know, obviously they don't want to... it's difficult to face the fact that you have people in your family that are doing bad things, right? But if nobody says anything, it's never gonna stop. And look at what happened to this kid. By the way, what the fuck, Texas, with 17? Are they're adults at 17? Give me a goddamn break. Oh my god, Texas. Holy crap.
Just love somebody, you know, have somebody else that would actually love me. Because I wasn't sure what love was. I struggled understanding my emotions. I don't know when I'm sad and that I'm sending out negative energy. I don't understand when I'm happy and sending out positive energy. The only way I was understanding how to communicate with people was online, and even then, you can't trust everything you see online because half the time people are just making their own assumptions and spinning what they want, and just, I can't ever speak my truth because everybody wants to assume things.
Can you go into the brainwashing? What would she say to you? Would she say something would happen if you were to leave her home?
It wasn't that, it's just, after I left, I started to understand that all of it's just an algorithm. It's literally all an algorithm. If you look at something black, you understand that they understand. If you look at something white, it'll confuse you when you're trying to go in a positive direction. If you look at something red, it'll remind you of love. If you look at green, it'll remind you of, you know, like grounding people that are there for you and stuff, you know?
Did you feel stuck? And what was she doing exactly that kept you hidden?
It's just every time I would try to leave or, you know, try to do things for myself, like I want to go get my own money, I want to go work a different job, I want to do this and that, they would always just come right back around to just, don't do that, or it's bad, don't do that, you know, like the cops are going to come out, they're going to do this, they're going to arrest you if you're driving a car without a license or this and that, and it's just like, oh, how do you expect me to get a license to drive a car if I can't even go out? All I do is work 12-hour shifts 7 days a week and I get $60. Like, I don't understand how that's fair.
Why do you think she wanted to keep you hidden?
I don't know. It all started just because I had a speeding ticket. I went like 70 and a 55 trying to go to work. And then when that all started, it's just like I wasn't able to have a life. I was starting to start working and growing and, provide for myself. And then after that happened, I couldn't do it.
I think the question everyone has is why your mom would lie and say that you've been missing for 8 years. Did she ever tell you, did you ever ask, Mom, why are we pretending that I'm missing?
And that's the thing, when it comes to the real small details like that, I don't remember. It's like it just blocks it out. Like she's blocking it out for me or something. It's like I just want to remember the facts. I just want to understand, who I am and what I'm trying to do and just try to live my life the way I want to, not how she wants me to.
Were you questioning your mom? Like, Mom, why am I doing this?
Yeah, I would always ask her stuff like, when am I going to get a job? When am I going to have my own car? When am I going to be able to make my own decisions? When am I going to be able to just go out and be free? Like, why can't we just go to the police station? Why can't I just get a lawyer? Why can't I just do that? And she's like, oh, you can't get a lawyer because it's too much money. We can't do that because it's too much money.
It's too much money. But she had GoFundMe set up. She was making money off of this. She was using him as slave labor to perform her own job duties, right? Allegedly. And he is now 25. Has presumably not been able to date anybody, not been able to get educated, other than it sounds like he is an avid reader, which is good for him. But like she stole all of those years of his life and potentially more, because if the story is correct that he ran away, which it sounds like that's not even correct anymore. It sounds like she just manipulated him to say, oh, well, you got a speeding ticket, so now you're hunted by the law, right? It's the story is very confusing. And it sounds like they both need serious therapy at this point. But she definitely needs a complete mental evaluation for doing this to her own kid. Oh my God, even.
No.
I don't know. I think somebody at one point mentioned something about an original GoFundMe page. And then my mom wanted to say something about, like, one of my aunts or something was, like, stole all the sodas or something. But meanwhile, where's all the money that they raised, Like, and where did that go to helping find me?
So we have video. We actually, Fox 26, we interviewed your mother while you were in the hospital 10 years ago in 2012. What happened? Why were you in the hospital? And I guess it was mentioned to our reporter at the time that you had cancer.
I had a tumor on my heel at one point, but that was irrelevant. Originally, I think all that had started because she wanted
I think the word he's looking for is malignant.
me to fake taking some, like, a bottle of Tylenol or, like, Aleve PM or something, sleeping pills. And then she wanted to fake me going to the hospital, and she pretty much just forced me to go into the ER and be like, hey, act like you're sick and you're overdosing and
This was before you were missing.
Yes, sir.
Why? Why was this happening?
I don't even remember. I think it was something to do with school. I was depressed and I was cutting my wrist when I was, getting sad. I didn't have an idea how to, understand my emotions. It was after my brother passed away. I didn't know how to deal with pain and depression, so I would just literally just rip a Coke can open and just run it on my wrist like a cheese grater just to feel something.
Your brother was a big part of your life, the
Yes.
one who passed away. Talk to us about that, and was that a major part in this, how you were feeling with depending on your mom?
Yes, ma'am. He would take care of me. He would take me to and from school. He would pick me up. He would get me McDonald's. He just say little jokes and stuff. And after he had passed away, I just wasn't able to, love myself or anything anymore. I wasn't able to have somebody like a father figure. He was my brother, but I never had a dad. family had stepdads. I didn't know how to grow up. I didn't know what I was doing as I was growing up. I didn't understand how to take care of myself, how to wash myself, how to make doctor's appointments, how to do anything, because I never had a chance.
What would you have to say to police that say, well, he was an adult?
What do you mean?
It seems like in this case, you didn't have the support there that you needed, and police seem so focused on your age that you were 17, which is an adult in Texas. But can you talk about the fact that, yes, you were an adult, but the mindset that you've been in?
Yeah, it was just like a constant brainwashing, like the Stockholm type of syndrome, where it's just, you just fall in love with your captive and just want to take care of them, do this and that, like it would just constantly just be me trying to help and just take care of my mom, do whatever she needs because I cared about her and she's the only person I had.
Did your mom, over this last 8 years, did she say anything or like, is there anything that sticks out in your mind that bothers you or that you remember conversations with her that
just, I don't know, I used to have to sleep in her bed sometimes. I don't remember why, just like next to her. It wouldn't be anything sexual or anything like that. I wouldn't lie about that because there's plenty of people that need honest truths when it comes to those things. That just muddies the water to lie about those type of things. That's where I said the media, they like to twist my words and confuse things. I never said anything bad about her in that regard, but just boundaries she would push or make me uncomfortable and I would say stop and she was like, well, why, what did I do? I didn't do anything wrong, and then I would just be like, okay, you didn't do anything wrong and just leave it at that, just push my boundaries if you want, do whatever you had to do. And I would just be like a people pleaser, but I didn't have people to please, just my mom. I didn't have anybody to take care of or, help understand me. It was just her all the time, my mom.
How hard has it been right now? I know that this is the only person you feel like you have had, and now that you're separated, how hard is it to make that distinction right now? Do you want to talk to her?
No, not really. I don't want any contact with her at all. I just want to live my life away from her. She can do whatever she wants. I don't care. I just want to live my life. I want to have a family, a job, a car, just a house. I just want to live my life and be happy. I just want to be happy. I don't want to keep going back to those negative thoughts she always has on me. I'm so tired.
Well, and also, it's not only the shock of finally being discovered, if you will, and now having the media all up in his face. But he's also sober now because she was drugging him. So this is probably an emotional crash for him right now.
I'm so tired of them. I'm so tired of this thoughts. Just constant negativity around that house, and I hate it. Seems like every time she comes around me, it just fuels negativity into me, like she's just downloading it into my brain over and over, and I don't like it.
Did she make you, were there ever times where police would come to your house to check on you? That you recall?
I think at one point.
Did you have interaction with the police, or did your mom make you hide? Like, how were you able to get away? I know police mentioned some fake names. Did you actually speak to the police ever?
Like once or twice. Maybe once when I was driving my mom's car and they pulled us over because, she wasn't feeling good. She had took some pain medicine after a surgery and, she was struggling to drive. So I was like, just get over, just get in the passenger seat. I'll take you home. It's not too far, And, yeah, they pulled me over for something like that, but I don't remember what name I gave them. She told me, just say something else, say a different name because they don't, they're going to arrest you. I'm just like, why can't I just tell them my name,
What was it like? 8 years without seeing some of your closest family members.
I'm sorry, where's the follow-up question of did you have ID with false names? Because I've never been pulled over where they didn't ask to see my driver's license. Is that not something you all do in Texas? Is ask for the driver's license? Because that generally happens at every traffic stop. So how did they get away with this? Did he have false identification?
And every time they'd come over, what would you have to do?
Hide. If my uncles or my aunts came to visit my mom, or my family would come to visit my grandma, that's the main reason. They would go over there to see my grandma. And I would just have to listen to my family be happy and cheerful on the other side of my door. And I'm just like, I want my families, I just want people. I just want communication. I just want people to understand that we need to start talking more and just stop, like.
Did you want to just end it right there and go out and tell them that you're here and you're okay?
I just want them to know that I wanted to scream for them, but at the same time I just couldn't, because the only person I was able to trust was my mom. She told me so many things about my other family that I didn't know. I wasn't able to verify.
Was your grandma living with you at one point?
Yes, ma'am.
And you
I took
had
care of her.
So, and she tried to tell people that you were there?
Yes, ma'am.
She was she sick?
She had Alzheimer's and dementia, sundown syndrome. She had a bunch of medical issues, and that's why I took care of her the best I could.
And did she ever say to you anything about Rudy, go out, tell police, did she ever say anything to you? Because it seems like she tried to tell family members that you were there.
Yeah, I think she tried telling people, but it's just my mom, I don't know. I'm honestly not sure about that one.
Do you feel like your mom held you captive? Is that how you would?
Pretty much. I mean, in a sense, just not in the physical, restraints or anything, but mentally she held me against my will, which is, I wanted to just come out and say stuff and be honest, and every time I would try to, she would just either be, no, don't do it, or, all right, go do it.
Why do you think she did that?
I don't know. It's because maybe a lot of both of our problems stemmed from my brother passing away. My brother had passed away, and ever since then, he was like our glue. He was like the father figure. He's a provider. He took care of the family. Me and my mom. And then when I couldn't take care of my mom anymore, I had to take care of my grandma, and it was difficult. Especially at the end.
Did you see your mom change her personality over the years?
She's always kind of had that mentality, try to talk to her about something positive, and then, or address her issues, and then my mom would just deviate, sidetrack, or completely ignore it, especially stuff like mental health.
This is your chance, finally. We've heard from family members, we've heard from police. It's finally your chance to tell your story. Is there anything that you want people to know about what happened to you?
I wanted to live my life, and just something inside of my brain kept going back to her, she was my life support in a sense, I needed her. Or at least she made me feel that way, She never gave me the confidence or the guidance or the teaching that I needed, She never gave me anything other than just the bare necessities and a job worth slaving over to help her pay bills and debts or whatever, or tickets and stuff,
Without getting into specifics, I'm sure you've heard or seen what Quanell told the media last week.
About what in particular?
About things that he says that you told him in that hotel room last week.
Specifically
about some of the sexual things.
See, that's what I'm saying. The twisting. No, I didn't say anything like intercourse or this and that.
But I don't necessarily think he didn't get into specifics like that either. But he did mention that your mom wanted you to play the role of husband in the house.
Yeah, pretty much. It basically felt like that. Make sure to cook, or you didn't make me any food. You didn't do this and that. It's just I just want to provide for myself. I don't want to keep providing for my mom. I just treat it like a roommate towards the end, I'm tired of being your son. I just want to be your roommate. I just want to live my life. Give me my check instead of $60 for 12-hour shifts 7 days a week at night, I just want to live.
She would make you go to work with her, is that?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we don't want to twist your words. We want to say it from your perspective, and we want to make sure we get this right. So I know she had you play the role of a father, but as far as sexual assault or something of that nature, did she ever force? You don't have to go into detail, but
she didn't force herself on me or anything like that. Like, it wouldn't be anything like I would have to go get a rape kit or go file a police report. Okay. It would never be anything like that. Just stuff that really made me uncomfortable, and I didn't have any references or other people to bounce off of to understand that, like, if it's a healthy thing that she does or not. You know, maybe it's just me not understanding how people work, because she's the only person I understand. But
she made him sleep in her bed. And for those of you who have slept with adults in bed before, it is not uncommon that they will start trying to cuddle up with you in the middle of the night. So even that could be considered a sexual assault. It's not a rape, but it's entirely possible that he's too embarrassed to talk about how far this went, because it was his mother, right?
Would you say that you and your mom have a normal son-mother relationship?
I mean, not after all of that. Not after everything she did. And to be honest, I don't want one with her.
when you finally left a few weeks ago, when you were found at the church, what happened? Did you just finally have enough?
Yeah, I just been walking. I just wanted to get away. I didn't care if I had a car or money or anything. I don't care about money. I don't care about a car. I don't care about anything. Just happiness and love.
How did you end up at the church? Did you just have nowhere to go?
I just kept walking around. I just kept trying to find back home, something that felt familiar. And the only thing that felt familiar was this side of town. I grew up over there by Austin and Humble and Jackson and all that, not Humble, Jackson and Austin and, just that general area by the freeway, so.
If he's already going there where he's trying to find things that he remembers, it's entirely possible that as he gets further away from the time that he was drugged, that he's going to remember more and more, especially if he starts going through therapy. So this story might get a lot worse.
So I kind of got a general sense of where I was going, but I just couldn't find something to be happy at. I found a church and I rolled with being at a church.
Are you still talking
Churches
with your mom?
Safe. No, I don't want any contact with her, but she keeps trying to come around.
If she sees this story, what would you tell her?
Just leave me alone. Just let me live my life. Just want to be happy, and I'm happy now. And I'm working on it.
Rudy,
working on being happy.
What would you say to people that think that somehow, now that you're an adult, that you were in on this? What would you say to those people that don't understand Stockholm?
It's very much a real thing, and it's a struggle, and you're the only one that understands it. It's even worse when everybody wants to assume the worst rather than understand and communicate genuinely and honestly, because there's just too much confusion in this world.
How are you feeling now? Is there relief?
Yeah, very much. A lot of relief. It just feels like I'm just at peace now. It just feels happy,
And how have police been handling this, do you think? What have they been saying to you, and what's it been like?
I mean, they're trying the best that they can and giving me space that they can, but it's a struggle still, I'm just slowly trying to take it one day at a time, it's just a lot it overwhelms me very much.
Given everything that you've been through and with your mom, do you think there's something that police should know about?
Just that there's a lot of corruption. And it's literally through the colors. Like I said, I'm not saying, there's corrupt cops and this and that. Literally, it's a corruption of the mind. It's through nanobots and it's through the flu vaccines and everything. That's why people...
Yeah, dude has been absolutely following QAnon. This is bad, you guys. Not only was he imprisoned for 8 years, but he apparently had internet access to the point where he is now influenced by QAnon conspiracy theories. Not good. The nanobots, the vaccines. Come on, Rudy.
People have that first memory of waking up and being alive whenever they're a kid, you know? It's like I said, literally corruption, like the colors. I'm not talking about the skin tones. I literally mean actual colors. Whenever you look at them, they influence the direction you go. And online, the media, like the computers and the people we talk to, it's all connected in a sense. That's why it just confuses us. Whenever we look at white things, we get distracted and stuff. And we look at the reds and we remind us that it's love, but they kind of influence us to assume, you know, like through bad stuff online. They're like, oh, red's bad, you know, it's evil, it's a devil. It's like, it's not all that.
For 8 years, you haven't really been able to speak to anyone besides some neighbors, your mom, going to work sometimes. Your communication seems like it's been very little. Do you think that's impacted you throughout the years, as
Yes.
not being able to really have real relationships with
Exactly. I wasn't able to understand like how people thought or acted, you know, like I would try to introduce myself, say hello to people online or this and that, and every time it just seemed like, you know, just completely get shot down by people, and I'm just trying to make friends or socialize, and it's just like I don't understand how to talk to people sometimes, you know. It feels like I'm speaking a completely different language than them, and I just don't understand sometimes.
Would you call yourself a victim?
Yes, heavily.
I'm almost done, personally. I don't know about you guys, but for the longest time, you've stayed hidden. You haven't been able to say who you are. Is it nice? I mean, you can say who you are now. You can be your own self and do your own life.
Yes, sir.
What are you hoping?
Just a job, get my own money, and help out my communities, help out my people, and help out other kids like me. Because I don't want this to happen to other people, because I'm sure it happens to a lot of people. A lot of abuse and just neglect and just harmful ways of parenting that shouldn't be out there. You know, there's just so many negative ways that kids are just getting abused, and they don't understand or realize that there's no help for them.
Another question we have for you is, so it's totally up to you or not. At first, we weren't going to because of the sexual assault aspect, but we want to put the record straight that you said that part's not true.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
want to show your face, or you don't want to show your face?
I'm not a big fan of showing my face, especially with a lot of people already knowing what I look like.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just makes it even worse.
I just want to make sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't worry, Rudy, we got you.
Anything we didn't ask that you think is important that you want us to mention, because we were here to finally tell your story. Anything that we didn't ask that you want to make sure people know about?
Just all I can say is just spread positivity and love.
The people that you're with, you know, a lot of people are coming down hard on Nikki and the people
They
you're
don't
with.
deserve it. They
Okay.
don't. They really don't. They helped me so much, and they've given me a place to stay and the family, in a sense. You know, it makes me happy.
Yep.
It really does. I never had, you know, a lot of people to talk with or socialize with, and it just makes me happy knowing that I have people here that I can trust and that can take care of me and that understand that, you know, sometimes people struggle.
So you consider yourself safe, out of harm, all that, right? Like you're with.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm happy here. I'm very happy here, and they're very good people. They don't deserve any negativity towards them or hatred. They should have a lot of help and support and guidance and just prayers and positivity. Just everything that anybody would need to be happy in life. You know, just.
And your mom, when she comes by, do you feel like, you know, you are being like kept away from her when she comes and stops by or tries to talk to you?
I
or-
just don't want her here because I know the way she acts, it influences everybody around me. It's not just me. It's like she sends that negativity towards me, and then I send it back out towards everybody else, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
I know Grizzy was mentioning that you might have had like someone from your high school reach out, and you've had a lot of attention
couple
from
people,
this a girl.
Yeah. You got some classmates, man, when you were going to college.
You know, I almost wonder if Mom was encouraging the QAnon bullshit, because had he been going in to get vaccinated that would mean he'd have more interaction with medical professionals who are mandatory reporters. You guys are so lame. I can't even.
To Catholic school, you got some classmates reaching out, which I told you about. Any messages to all the people that know you from before all this went down, that love you, that say they're here for you?
Just thank you very much for reaching out. And when I'm ready, I'll be able to reach out to the people I care about and love. And
Are you surprised by all this attention? I mean, it's been on the news across the world.
I wasn't expecting that much attention, to be honest. I didn't realize that it was happening so big, just growing so much.
Are you going to I know police mentioned that there were some resources. Are you plans to talk to anybody that they put you in touch with?
At some point. It's just right now, I just rather do it by myself, just try to learn to understand how to live and be a normal person,
Have you gotten
and be nice.
Have you gotten an attorney?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Lawyer? No?
No, sir. Not that I'm aware of.
And then, have you talked to Quanell since you saw him at the hotel?
No.
No?
No, sir.
You guys have anything else? Anything else you want to add, Rudy?
Why are you not working with the DA? Okay, I get it. You've been a prisoner for 8 years. You might not know everything, but it does sound like you're an avid reader. You have internet access. It's been an incredibly intrusive and imprisonment sort of situation, but you did have access to these sorts of resources where you could have researched what was available to you. Why are you not working with the district attorney right now? I'm sorry, I don't mean to be an asshole here and to come down on somebody who was being drugged for 8 years, but Rudy has made it clear that he is articulate. He's for the most part well read. He does buy into conspiracy theories, which is not great. And he did allow his mother to do this to him, so he's susceptible to that sort of influence, right? But you don't even, come on, man. Seriously, why are you not, in constant contact with the district attorney at this point? There should be a prosecutor assigned to your case. I can't even. Come on.
Just spread some positivity. Spread wildflower, not wildfire, because we need more colors and beauty in this world. We don't need any more hatred or burning things down. We need to just stop, trying to disassemble everything and just take out the bolts and the screws and try to clean things, instead of looking at everything so negatively. Just look at all the positivity in the world. Focus on the positivity, because every time you focus on the
Dude, you're the one talking about nanobots and being an anti-vaxxer. So, I get that you want some positivity, but why are you accepting that bullshit into your life?
negativity, it just creates more negativity around you and your communities.
Okay, I guess that's it.